the 14th of January 2026. Good morning, Mr. Michael Asukwo Ebong and every other person on the platform. All right, so today, the first fundamental event coming up today will start by 2:30 p.m. and that's the core PPI monthly, core retail sales monthly, PPI monthly, and retail sales from the United States. All four data will be released by 2:30 p.m. Now, because they are all about four data combined together, we expect volatility on the dollar. Now, there will be core PPI and PPI again, which is October data, so it's merged with that other one. So I think all will come up by 2:30 p.m. So we expect a high impact on the United States dollar. Now, the thing about this data is that most of them are not really related. So, these are the possibilities that could happen. Like now, we have the core PPI, PPI, core PPI, PPI. Then we have the core retail sales and retail sales. So the event is between PPI and retail sales. Now, this is the possible outcome of this data when released. We may have a scenario where all of the data may be good, for the dollar, good for both PPI, good for both the retail sales. And if that happens that way, we may have a data where everything will be green all through. If it's green all through, that means we have a massive bullish, movement on the dollar. And if on the other hand, all data comes out bad, for the dollar, then we may end up with a color red data, which will lead to a massive, bearish movement. But like I said, some of these data are not related. PPI and retail sales are not related not really so related. So it's possible we may have a scenario where some of the data may come out good for the dollar, and some may come out bad for the dollar, and that may result into a spike. Now, we're not trading this live. We had CPI live trading yesterday. We don't trade this data live, but if you want to trade this in the afternoon, I will advise you trade with a lot of caution. If it comes out all good, fine. Massive volatility. If it comes out some good, some bad, we may experience a spike. Better still, if you're not too clear about how to trade this, then just stay out and wait till after the release of the data to look for trading opportunities. Definitely after the data, there'll be volatility across board in the market, and that can even trigger some other setup, technical setup that might have been formed on different financial assets, after the release of the data. All right, so with that being said, I'm switching over to the chart to look at the technicals I have ahead of the release of this data, or even for the day entirely. Okay, so I want to welcome Mrs. Omoto Show, Madam Onaji. Good morning, welcome on board. So I'm switching over now to my MetaTrader 4 platform, and the first instrument I'm looking at today is the USD card. All right, so I'm looking at the USD card on the daily time frame. Now, before I even proceed to the USD card, I want to take a look at the dollar. Now, there seems to be a kind of a conflict in the direction of the dollar, which is going to impact upon some of the analysis. But then, whatever I'm showing you now is what I'm seeing at the moment. Some of it may trigger, some may not trigger, but just take note, it's what the technical is saying at the moment. For the USD card, price is trading around. This is the USD card on the daily time frame. Price is trading around the previous resistance. There's a previous resistance, turn support, and turn resistance again. Technically, we will be looking at a possible bearish breakout on the USD card, and that's on the daily. And if you flip it down to 1 hour time frame, even if you take it down to 4 hours, it's still the same thing. In order to see that bearish breakout, a head and shoulder pattern is already forming on both the 1 hour or 4 hour, depending on your time frame of preference. So technically, if the price is able to break out below the neckline region of this head and shoulder pattern, then that will give us a clear bearish breakout on the USD CAD. Now, because of the instability around the dollar, it may be a short-term movement or a long-term movement. It all depends on the market and even possibly the news, the outcome of the data we're expecting on the United States dollar later in the afternoon by 2:30 p.m. But technically, what I'm seeing on the USD CAD is a bearish outlook on the USD CAD. Now, this is why I said it's a little bit interesting or conflicting, because on the AUD USD likewise on 4 hour this time, I'm also seeing a bearish setup, and I've been watching this for a couple of days also. On the AUD USD, I'm seeing a bearish setup forming on this instrument. It's a swing setup, and that's why it's still possible. Now, technically, it's in terms of correlation, I mean, it's really not the best to have a bearish outlook on USD CAD, a bearish outlook on the AUD USD, because for both of them, the dollar is the base of the USD CAD, is a code for the AUD USD. But then if one is intraday, the other is swing, it's actually possible. Very, very possible. All right. So the AUD USD I'm looking at is on the 4 hour. That's the swing, with the main analysis coming from the weekly time frame. So it's something that may take some time, but then it's forming, every day it's getting clearer. Now, this is the AUD USD on the weekly time frame, and we can see that the overall trend is bearish. Price is in an overall bearish trend, and the candle that closed last week closed as a rejection candle for the AUD USD. So technically, we expect price to continue in that overall bearish direction, which is a downtrend for this week. And if we flip down to the daily, sorry, the 4 hour rather time frame, the 4 hour time frame, I'm seeing a head and shoulder also forming on the AUD USD. Shoulder head, possibly a second shoulder, and then we experience the bearish breakout. Now, if the USD CAD is the first to break out into a sell, we may see an uptrend on the AUD USD first. You can see that even the formation is not, it has a kind of a pattern, so there's a likelihood this may go up. So if the USD CAD is going to sell, it may just give this one the opportunity to go up. And while the USD CAD is retracing back into the bullish direction, maybe that is when this is going to break out downwards. Let's just watch. But most importantly, I'm expecting price to break this neckline region on the USD, sorry, the AUD USD. Further to this analysis on the AUD USD is the formation of a rising wedge pattern. So you can see that from a technical angle, we have a good looking bearish setup on the AUD USD, just waiting for price to trigger. So I'm bearish on the USD CAD on 1 hour. I'm bearish on the AUD USD on 4 hour. Now, next is gold. Now, somebody has been chatting that I should check gold. Just when you come to my analysis, please always relax. I'll touch on every important instrument based on my analysis, and there will always be room to ask for whatever analysis I didn't touch on, which you feel I should. So just always relax. Now, for gold. Gold has been experiencing an uptrend, massive uptrend recently, and that's due to a lot of geopolitical tension, geopolitical issues, especially the one between the United States and Venezuela. It's really rattling the market, and we've seen gold break into new grounds. Though in this season, I always encourage to trade with a lot of caution. Don't just place a blind buy, because you never can tell along the way. There could be reversal or retracement. So trade gold with a lot of caution. Now, currently from a technical angle, I'm seeing a rising wedge pattern on the daily time frame, and on the 1 hour, you can see that price. Okay, let's go to the 4 hour first. On the daily, we have a rising wedge. On 4 hour, we can see there is a higher high, and the third one here is actually where price is at the moment. Okay, let's say this is a minor higher and another one, since we are looking at the 4 hour. Basically, we have a trend line there on the daily, confirmed on the 4 hour, and on the 1 hour, I'm seeing the formation of a triple top pattern. So we might be expecting a breakout to the bearish side on gold today, because this is a triple top A triple top is when price touches a trend line three times consecutively, and bouncing off. So technically, we will be looking out for a breakout to the downside on gold today from a technical perspective, all things being equal, except if there's a change in market structure. So wait for price to break below that neckline, that rectangle box, that's the neckline region, and that can head in to trigger a sell. And don't always forget the confirmation, your RSI should be clearly below 50. MACD is subjective. If it crosses, fine. If it doesn't, no problem. But at least your RSI must cross below 50. So I'm bearish on gold today. All right, so the next I'll look at now is the Euro card, and just like the AED USD, that AED USD is a very good high probability setup. The Euro card is equally a high probability setup I've been monitoring for some days now also. Now for the Euro card, it's also a swing setup. Now on the daily time frame, we can clearly see that price is in an overall downtrend. Price makes a series of lower high, lower high, lower high, a lower high with a rejection candle 3 days ago. So the overall trend still remains bearish. And secondly, we have price hitting the previous support turned resistance. So this region here becomes the point of confluence where the trend line support resistance meets along with a rejection candle. So technically we are looking for a downward movement on the Euro card. That's the daily time frame. We switch over to 4 hour. Now this one is not having anything like a head and shoulder or double top, but then we have a rising wedge, and that's good enough. All right, so we have a rising wedge pattern, and price has actually broken out, below the lower trend line, indicating, price is getting ready to be in the sell zone. RSI, I wouldn't say this as cross 49 is insignificant. I would prefer to see more of the RSI cross way below 50 to something like 45, 43, thereabouts. And in this case, also, I would prefer the MACD crossing below zero. So two things you need to watch out for in the course of today. Don't forget, this is purely a swing setup. We are waiting for our RSI to cross further below 50 and MACD to cross below zero. Once those two are achieved, you can trigger a sell on the Euro card. Don't forget, it's a swing setup. If you are not a swing trader, please don't bother. Just stick with the ones I already gave as a 1 hour outlook. That's the USD card and gold. And okay, there's still NZD which I'll check, which is still 1 hour also. But AED USD, Euro card, they are swing, strictly for swing traders. All right, so now we can see that price is also very close to Fibonacci 38.2. So if a new candle opens below Fibonacci 38.2, RSI below 50, MACD below zero, yes, go ahead, trigger a sell. And the first point of call will be Fibonacci 50, and that is, it will be roughly some 15 pips, and Fibonacci 1.8 will be around 34 pips, and Fibonacci 78.6 will be around 63 pips. So just watch out for the clear setup and then trade accordingly. So we're bearish on the Euro card on 4 hour. And next I'll look at is the NZDJPY. This is equally a 1 hour setup. Now, the JPY pairs have been massively bullish in the last for like close to a month now. It's been on a massive uptrend since November 6th. That's about 2 months. Massively, yes, some minor retracement, but then even if you want to neglect since November and this week, right from Monday, there's been a sharp breakout, to the upside. And for this NZD JPY, but it's the same thing across board for all the JPY pairs. Now, why am I looking specifically at this NZD JPY? There's a reason. On the weekly time frame, you can see that price eventually hit a resistance level on the weekly time frame, and close around that weekly resistance yesterday. And same thing if you go to the daily, is still very valid on the daily. This is the daily time frame. That's the resistance zone. You can see there's a lot of range here because price could not break it. And yesterday price closed on that. So technically, we're looking for a reversal on the NZD-JPY. Now, if we take a look closer on this instrument, we'll also discover that around that resistance, zone, there's the candle that closed yesterday also closed as a rejection candle. That's a further confirmation to a bearish, breakout on the NZD-JPY. And thirdly, we have the trend line, touching price 3 times. That's a further confirmation of, a possible reversal on the NZD-JPY. So on the daily time frame, we have multiple reasons to believe this instrument, is expected to go in the bearish direction. But then that's for trend. We now look at entry. Our entry will be on 1 hour time frame. Now you can see that price dropped and currently it has retraced back into that resistance zone. Now, two things are likely to happen. Price may still go up further to touch the trend line again and even the resistance. If that happens, then we will see that price will have formed a perfect looking double top pattern, which is expected to lead to a breakout. That's a possible outcome. But then on the other hand, like I always tell us, I don't, even though I trade patterns a lot, I still need to wait and see clearly what the market is doing. There are times things may not go as planned. Now, peradventure, the pattern didn't, work as planned. It's still not a problem. I'll just be waiting for a new candle to break out below this recent support zone, and then I'll still trigger a sell. So either way, if price goes up to form a double top, perfect. If it doesn't, if it reverses from the current point and breaks out below the recent support, it's still valid. Most importantly is that I'm looking out for a bearish breakout on NZD-JPY. And if it works all in line with what I've said, then we'll be looking at potential profit taking levels if price did go in that bearish direction. And my first point of call will be the recent Fibonacci level 38.2, and that will be around 14 pips. Fibonacci 50 will be around 36 pips. Fibonacci 61.8 will be around 59 pips. And if the volatility is really strong and price goes to Fibonacci 78.6, that will be about 88 pips. So my analysis for NZD-JPY, I'm bearish on a 1 hour time frame. All right, that'll be all from my end this morning. For the benefit of those who are just joining us, I've analyzed the USD cards, and I'm bearish on the 1 hour. I'm bearish on gold also on 1 hour. I'm bearish on NZD-JPY on 1 hour. Then I'm bearish on AUD USD on 4 hour, and I'm bearish on Euro card also on 4 hour. So 5 instruments I've analyzed this morning. Now, peradventure you have another instrument that I didn't touch, which you want me to look into, you can go ahead and post it in the comment section, and I'll analyze that for you. So the floor is open for such kind of requests. All right, so while we're waiting for that, we had our CPI yesterday, and it came out good, even though from the outcome of the data, the volatility, there wasn't sufficient liquidity to push, price. But then at least our first take profit was hit. That's what is most important. It still came out good, overall. If you have never joined us for any live trading session, I tell you, you're missing a lot. Last Friday, we had NFP, January NFP. It was a massive blast. And yesterday too, CPI was good. I keep saying it with pride. We've been doing this for about 3 years now, and we have a very good winning rate, at least about 80% winning rate. So if you have never joined a live trading session with PU Prime, the next one that will come up on the 6th of February, and that will be NFP. That's the February NFP coming up by 6th February 2026, 2 p.m. Don't miss it. At these live sessions, we make money. So it's for live and funded traders. We don't do demo, we do live. People trade live and they make money. So make sure you plan to join us for the next live trading session. And don't forget also that our academy has fully kicked off for the year, with physical training sessions. So if you live in Abuja and its environ, or Lagos and its environ, join us for physical training sessions, offline sessions on Tuesdays and Thursdays by 11 a.m. So if you live around Karu, Yanyan, and other neighboring environment to Abuja, make your way to our office at Work and Connect building, 50 Ebitu Ukiwe Street, Jabi, Abuja. And if you live around Lagos, Paja, Agege, Mowe, Ikotun, Isolo, find your way to our office at Agos Executive Lounge 54B at Adeniyi Jones Avenue, Ikeja for training on Tuesdays and Thursdays. All right, so I'm seeing a lot of requests here, so let's quickly run through. Esther is asking me to check USD CHF, Madam Onaji GBP AUD, Pastor Emmanuel Euro card. Okay, now please drop the link early because I joined late due to network. Okay, I've already done a recap of the analysis, but then the link to the recording will also be dropped. Pastor Samuel is saying we should check NZD card. All right, we'll do that. So let's start with the USDCHF. Like I said, the dollar is giving a kind of a conflicting outlook at the moment. In some direction, it's looking bearish. In some other ones, it's looking as if it's looking bullish. But nonetheless, we'll trade what we see technically, and that's why some of the major pairs I just purposely skip them for now, while we try to know which direction the dollar is expected to go. Now, this is the USD CHF. Technically speaking, this is a weekly time frame. And price actually, from technical angle, on one side, it's looking like an inverse head and shoulder, which technically is expected to break out to the upside, technically. But then if you come down to the daily time frame, I'm also seeing something on the daily. I'm seeing a descending trend line, and the you can see price clearly touching the lower highs, touching the trend line. Technically, also this will give us some reversal to the bearish side. So to be honest, the dollar is in a fix. It can either break out or reverse. It's either of the two. But then if we flip down to 4-hour time frame, we have what at the moment it may change, but at the moment this is a valid resistance, and I may say that we are seeing something that looks like a double top trying to form. If it forms like this, we may be looking for a bearish movement. All this, they are not, I can't validate them now until I clearly see the market move. But because we are analyzing, we just have to show you what we are seeing. So if this forms fully into a double top pattern, then we may just see a bearish breakout because of the double top. Otherwise, if price breaks this resistance, then we'll see an uptrend. So for the USD price is just in between a buy and a sell until we see a clear breakout before we can say, okay, this is where the market really is going. So that's my view on the USD And for GBP AUD, some volatility took place in the market yesterday. You can see those sharp rejection candles, uptrend, downtrend. That's actually like a kind of a spike. But then let's go to the higher time frame. On the daily time frame, we can see that the overall bias is bearish. Price is in an overall downtrend. And the candle that closed yesterday actually touched the trend line. So technically, we should be looking for a further bearish movement today. Let me check the 4-hour. Okay. Now the 4-hour time frame, we still have a valid resistance. The tip of this rejection candle still aligns with this. So we have a resistance there, a minor resistance there. And this is the 1 hour. Now the issue is with this 1 hour, there's been some slight bearish movement already, and even this trend line, the angle of inclination for me is not so good as what I will expect. But nonetheless, we still have a valid rising wedge here. Okay. If you're not on a trade on this one, I may just suggest you ignore it. But if you're already on the trade, if it's a bearish one, you may hold on. All right, because the reason is because you can see a lot of irregular movements, some sharp spikes with all these rejection candles, it's giving a lot of irregular movement. But if price is able to break out to the downside, yes, we'll see some, bearish movement on this GBP and AUD, and price may target the recent support here and the next one. So I'm bearish on the GBP AUD.
Thank you very much, sir.
You're
God
welcome.
bless you.
Amen. Then Pastor Samuel, Eurocard, and I already analyzed Eurocard, but I'll just do a recap. And NZD card. For Eurocard, I said price is on a downtrend on the daily time frame. So that's an overall, downtrend on the daily. And we also have a support turned resistance. So technically, and the candle that closed 2 days ago closed as a rejection candle. Technically, the overall bias on the Euro card is bearish. Now, this works best on a swing. It works best on the 4 hour. If the 1 hour size is not looking too good, I would rather look at it more as a 4 hour swing setup. So on the 4 hour, I'm also seeing a rising wedge here, which will further assist the breakout to the downside. Price has broken out below the lower trend line. I said it earlier that you can look at taking a sell when you have your RSI clearly below 50. RSI is just around 47 now. Okay, it's dropping, but I'll prefer maybe an RSI in the range of maybe 45 or 44. But then most importantly, MACD. In this one, please make sure your MACD crosses below zero. By the time MACD crosses below zero, RSI will have moved downwards, considerably well. So if that happens, then you can trigger a sell on the Euro card. So we're bearish on the Euro card on the 4 hour time frame. And finally, I think the NZD card. NZD card. Okay, I think I saw this last night. Yeah. For the NZD card, now you can see that Euro card is bearish. NZD card too technically is bearish, but I will give my outlook on this. Now for the NZD card, you can also see that price is in an overall downtrend. There's a lower high, a lower high, a lower high. It's in an overall downtrend, and also we have a recent resistance level at this point. So technically, our overall outlook is bearish. Yesterday on 1 hour, there was already a bearish movement on 1 hour. So that's 1 hour is no longer our focus. We'll be looking more on the 4 hour time frame. So this is a 4 hour version. So we can see a rising wedge pattern forming on the 4 hour. Now, price may go back to retest this resistance before finally dropping. Yeah, RSI is below 50 at the moment, but notwithstanding, price is yet to break out below the trend line. But if price goes to hit that resistance, or it may, it's a 50-50, it may hit it or not, but at least we may see some slight uptrend before we experience a reversal. But anytime price reverses, and on this one too, I will say compulsorily wait for your MACD to cross below zero. So the thing about MACD is that MACD is for conservative traders. But then the thing about it is that it's one of the best instruments that can tell you when a reversal has finally taken place in the market. By the time MACD crosses below zero, I can assure you that price will have broken out properly, below the lower trend line, confirming the bearish breakout. So I have a bearish outlook also on the NZD card, just like the Euro card. And for this NZD card, if everything works out as planned, all things being equal, we may be looking at profits in the range of, okay, let's look at this Fibonacci 38 below it as our entry if everything works out fine. The Fibonacci 50 can give as much as 16 pips, Fibonacci 61.8 as much as 33 pips, and Fibonacci 17.6 as much as 59 pips. So I'm bearish on both on the Euro card and the NZD card. But then a word of caution, I will advise you trade just one of them. Don't trade both, because trading both means you're increasing risk in the same direction. So just whichever one breaks out first, either the Euro card or the NZD card, just trade. That's my advice. All right, I think I've attended to all the requests here. iPhone, okay, I always say it on this platform, please, I will encourage you, I prefer to see your real name. Yeah, I know you just joined, but please just put your real name instead of the iPhone. Just, I believe that came with the setup, but just put your real name so that we know we're talking to a real individual and not, a mobile device. So, sir, I want to know more about trading. I just joined you, sir. Okay. If you just joined, I would like to know your location. So just send me a chat on WhatsApp, my official WhatsApp. And okay, your name is Mustafa Bibo. That's good. Great. I'm Rotimi. You know, I'm the analyst for PU Prime. Just send me a chat on WhatsApp 070 2526 3604. So let's see how I can guide you to get started with trading with PU Prime. Send me a chat and please introduce yourself. Let me know you're from this analysis this morning. Olawale, definitely I'll drop the recorded clip so that we can watch over and over again. All right, so that'll be the end of
Excuse me,
this.
sir.
Yes,
Hello,
ma.
sir.
Yes, ma.
Please, this GBP AUD that I asked question on, I
Yes.
entered a trade on it yesterday, I think morning or afternoon,
Okay.
and I entered on a buy. It started buying, but it didn't get to my profit. Then it now reversed and started selling. Since I've been holding it. Now it's like it's retracing. Is there any probability of it going back to a buy again, or I should close the trade, sir, please?
It depends on
Because
your. Go
because
ahead, ma.
um because now I don't know how to mention it, where I place my stop loss is about where you put this line for the first rectangle for support, not this one you put just now, not the neckline, the one, that line below the lower trend line. That's where
You mean here?
that's where I put my stop loss.
Is it this place I
Sir?
just marked blue?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Now, if you're on a buy, like I said,
Yes, sir.
the overall outlook is bearish. That is provided
Yes, sir.
price breaks out below the lower trend line. But
Okay, sir.
currently, that is yet to happen. But that's the direction. But if the market now currently, I said something about this instrument since yesterday's been misbehaving. You can see a lot of sharp
Yes.
spikes, you know. So currently, the 1 hour candle seems to be on a retracement. You may just hold it. At least I cannot say whether it will go back to your entry, but
Or not. Yes,
your
sir.
risk may reduce because you can see
Yes,
that
sir.
there's a minor support here and the
Okay.
current candle is looking like it's trying to go up. So if it goes up a little more and it reduces your negative, if you're
Yes,
comfortable
sir.
enough to close it, then you can. So, that's why I always tell us that no matter what you're seeing in the market, please don't panic. Try to understand what is happening. You may be completely against the trend. It's not really a challenge. It can happen, but it's the decision you take that determines how experienced you are. So I would say
Okay.
for now, just hold on. But if price breaks below this trend line, please don't
Yes, sir.
hesitate to close it. But for
Okay, sir.
now, just hold on and watch.
Thank you very much, sir. I'm very grateful.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yes.
Hello,
Thank
sir. I want to confirm, is US 30 the same with DJ 30?
Yes, on our platform, US30 is labeled as DJ30. DJ30 is the market name, Dow Jones. If you go on CNN, that's what they'll mention. They'll call it Dow Jones Industrial Index. So we adopted that on our platform to label it as DJ30.
But they are not moving in the same, they are moving in the same price action, but the prices are not the same. What I mean, the prices, like if you use some other broker, you see that the thing is so volatile in the sense that 10 pips will be giving you different amount from the prime. I don't know why it's like that.
Different brokers have different price feed because of the liquidity provider being used. So you may not get
Okay.
exactly the same. There will be a slight difference. It's like you go out there
Oh,
to want to exchange dollar. One that booking may tell you is 1,450, another will tell you is 1,451. That's the way it is in trading. So there will be slight difference in prices from broker to broker because those prices are actually not fixed globally. It's a function of a liquidity provider.
because yesterday I traded it with I traded it on my account, and I just see one of my friends on the same trade we took. He is trading with one of the brokers like that, and he just told me the same trade we took, the same closing is what we did. He made about $37, and me I made only about $8.
Yes, I think PU Prime also reduced the risk. See, there's something you should know about trading. The more volatile an asset is, if everything goes right, you make money. But you see, don't always look at the good side. The same way your friend made 30 something dollars, if the market went bad, he will have made minus $30. You understand? So volatility is good, but it also means higher level of risk. That's the truth about trading. Volatility is good, but it also means the risk is higher. So if things didn't go as planned, you stand the risk of losing more if things did not go as planned. So for you, for DJ30, it's not too volatile on our platform. Yeah, I've observed that too. But it's better for the trader. If you want to make more profit on it, you may just increase your lot size a little, that will catch up with the others. But in terms of volatility, our own volatility is moderate compared to the other. The others. See, you need to know something. PU Prime is more concerned about you making money. When it's volatile, the other party may be concerned about you losing. That's the truth. So you stand a better chance with us than any other platform.
That is true. That is true. That is true. Thank you very much.
All right. So that will be the end of this analysis. Definitely, I'll drop the link to this recorded version very, very soon. Just watch out in your group, watch the video again, and use it as a way to gain more insight into how we trade so that you can become a better trader. This is 2026. 2025 is gone. This year, plan to be a better trader. Plan to be able to analyze the market by yourself and know the direction of where the market is going. All right. We'll see you again some other time. Bye for now.
Thank you very much, sir. We are very grateful.
You're
Bye.
welcome. Bye.
Bye.